Okay, so this class is pre-algebra. It's a course you guys are taking so that you can get into a program course, hopefully next semester. This class is going to meet 3 days a week, so we're Mondays for 2 hours here from 8:30 till 10:20. Wednesdays and Thursdays then from 9:30 till 10:20. Your homework in this class is all done on a software called MyMathLab. Usually this is one of the few times that we've actually had this class contained in one classroom. Usually we're over the television network to New Richmond, Hayward, and Ladysmith as well. So I use the online homework manager just so we don't have to send papers back and forth. Hey, come on in. Abdurrahim? Thank you. So one of the first things you'll need to do for this class is you'll need to get registered on that website. Now with your textbook, if you bought a new textbook, it should have came with a little card with a code on it. And that code gives you your access. Yep, that's the one right there on the inside front cover. It has like a little silver thing, like a lottery ticket you scratch off. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you that website. That website is just mymathlab.com. So if you type that in, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. Now, once you're registered, you would just click the sign in button here. But for your first time through, you're going to have to register. So over here it says register now, and you guys will be registering as a student. So you'd click on student. Now my browser needs updating, so it's going to give me a warning thing here. So this is just what you need to get registered for the site. First, you're going to need an email. I strongly recommend you use your WITC email address, just because if there's issues, it's a lot easier to sort out if you have that email address. The course ID is what identifies what class you're in. That's this one right here. It's HOFF, H-O-F-F 58499. I'll write it a little bit bigger here so you can actually see it. So that's the access code you're going to need. So next, you're also going to need then, there's an access code that one that comes with your textbook. It's going to get you when you buy your textbook, you're buying use of the website as well. If you're using a used textbook or you got one from somebody else that's already used the code, you'll have to use a credit card or some other method of buying it online when you go to register. So then once you've gathered all that stuff up, you'll just click OK, register now. Funny color all of a sudden. So you go here, this is where you're going to put in the access for the website. HOFF, I just forgot it, 58499. So now it's automatically connecting you to this class. If you've taken any classes that use MyMathLab before, which most of you probably won't because this is an entry-level class here. If you already had an account, you could just put in your username and password from what you've already created here. Otherwise, you can go to create an account. So you'll have to put in your email. Again, I strongly recommend you use WITC, your WITC email. Your username and what you're going to use as a password. Make sure you write this down. Every semester I have 1 or 2 students that get registered and then they forget what their password is. And it is kind of a pain to go through the Pearson customer service and get your passwords reset. There's absolutely nothing I can do on my end for lost passwords. So once you get all that done, you have to accept the licensing agreement, create the new account, and then it'll take you to the next stage where it'll ask you for your access code. So I'm not going to put all this in because I already have an account and I don't want to put a lot of info out there, but that'll be either that access code from the textbook. Be very careful, it's a long code. It's like 24 digits long. Or you'll have to use a credit card to purchase access to the website. I'm going to step back a few steps here and then I'll show you what it looks like then once we're in. So as I said, once you're registered, when you go to this mymathlab.com, you're just going to click on sign in. and you can log in. And it'll take you to a page that looks like this. Now you guys should only have one class listed here because you only have this class in my math lab. Oops, that's the wrong one. There's pre-algebra. So when you click on the course, it's going to take you to a place that looks something like this. And we'll go over this again a little bit on Wednesday. So when you get here, this is called your dashboard. It should show you any assignments coming up that are due will show right here. Now you notice these all say homework. Homework 1, 2, 3. There will be quizzes that come up in there, but quizzes are only available for about a day and a half at a time. So there won't be a quiz today. There won't be a quiz Wednesday. The first quiz, I believe, is going to be next Monday. It'll appear at about class time next Monday, and it'll be there all day Tuesday for you to take. Homework assignments, if you do them past the due date, it'll let you take them. They'll just give you a warning that it's going to take off half the points. That's not a big deal for homework assignments. The official grade book is kept in Blackboard, so when I transfer homework assignments to Blackboard, I will correct that. Quizzes, however, do have a hard due date. If you miss the due date on the quiz, the quiz will disappear and you won't be able to access it. If you have, something comes up at work and you get busy or whatever, I'll reopen a quiz or two for you throughout the semester. But I won't reopen it if it goes more than a week past the due date. So that's something, if you miss a quiz and you don't get it done, let me know right away. I'll reopen it for you so you can take it. I do have students every semester that'll come up to me with like 2 weeks left and they're short on points for passing. Like, well, I missed these 4 quizzes. Well, it was like 6 weeks ago. I'm not going to go back and open those up for you. So you can either access them from the dashboard, or I find it easier just to click here. You can click on homework on the left side of the screen, and it'll list out all the homework assignments for you. So homework 1, click on it, it'll give you the problems. Now the first couple of homework assignments are pretty long because it's a lot of basic material. I'm hoping a lot of it's review for you. But if you click on a problem to do it, there's a lot of neat tools out here to help you. Some of these first ones might be a little basic, might not have all the tools. My network connection is going really slow this morning.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does this access to that person, does it expire? Or
12 months.
12 months?
Yep.
Do they do like a cheaper rate if you do it or something? For like a future purpose?
Not as far as I know. Because we do, if you take the Math of Business Applications course, which is what most people would be taking next after this one, that for most instructors also uses this website. So it's you still have to have the access code from your textbook for that. So this one doesn't have anything really interesting. Let's go up to one of the more difficult questions here. Here we go. So this one here is an order of operations question, which we'll talk about in a little bit what order of operations is. If you're looking at a question like that and you're not sure what to do, this here says question help. If you click on that, it pulls down a menu. There are several options here. Now the first one is help me solve this. That would be my second choice to use. There's view an example. I can click on view an example and it's going to give me a similar problem with different numbers. And it's going to take me through step by step, giving me information. So here's what the order of operations says. So if I click continue, it'll say, what's the next step? Well, you would take this and you'd have to do the multiplication first. So it does that step for you. So it'll actually walk you through a step-by-step example of how to solve a similar problem. So once you're done with that, you can go back here and then you can solve this problem if you want to. If you're still not sure what to do, you can actually access, you click on textbook, it'll actually take you to the page, an electronic copy of the page in the textbook that covers this material. My web browser is running really slow today, so we're not going to wait for it. But that is, textbook. It'll take you to that page. Some of the problems have a video. You can click on that and it'll show you a video of someone actually doing a problem like this and talking you through it step by step.
You would check your work option.
Yep, that'll come up here in just a second. So like here, help me solve this. So if you viewed the example and you've done the videos and textbooks and you still don't know how to do it, if you click help me solve this, it'll take this exact problem and it'll walk you through it step by step. Rather than giving you the steps though, it'll actually ask you now, what is the next step? So begin by identifying the operation. Perform basic parentheses is what we're going to have to do. So check the answer at each step. Okay, that's the first thing we have to do. So it'll take you step by step through solving that problem. And it'll ask you, okay, what's the next step? And so on, through that exact problem. Now you'll notice this is the problem right here. Once I hit close, that problem automatically changes. So now I can go back and do this different. It's a similar problem with different numbers, and it's going to be the same steps. Now, if you still are struggling and don't know what to do, there's an Ask My Instructor button here. If you click that, it'll send me an email, and then you can it'll give you a spot where you can type in a message if you want to. You can say, I think I'm doing it right, but I just get the wrong number or whatever. Or if I'm not sure whether I should multiply first or add, and it'll send me that message. It's important that you do this rather than just sending me an email that says, hey, I'm having problems with number 58 on homework 1. Because as you saw, these numbers change when you hit some of the buttons. They're computer generated. They're called algorithmic problems. So the numbers you see might be different than the numbers I see if I go in and look at number 58 on homework 1. So by using that Ask My Instructor button, it'll send me a copy of the exact problem you're looking at. So when I go to answer your question, it makes a little more sense that the numbers are the same. Now you said check my answer. Well, let's say I'm going to put in the number 6 here for my answer. I check my answer. It says, nope, you are wrong. It'll let me do that up to 3 times. Still not right. At the 3rd time, it'll make me go on to the next question. Now you can still go back to question 58 here. It says it's wrong. If you go back to it and say similar question, it'll give you a new question, change the numbers again. Exact same form, but it'll give you 3 more attempts. If you've attempted it each of those 3 times, or 6 total attempts, it'll force you to go on to the next question. Now for your homework, it is not graded for accuracy. The homework to me is a tool for you to learn how to do the material. So when I grade your homework, I am concerned that you did every problem and that you took the time to go through it. So if I look at the homework and you have maybe 3 out of 59 questions right, what I'm going to do is the system will actually tell me how much time you put into it. So if I check the system and it shows you spent 7 minutes on the homework, that tells me you got up against the deadline and just put in numbers quick and ran it through. So I'll only give you partial credit for that. But if I look at it and you put in 2.5 hours and you only got 3 out of 59 right, you're going to get full points for the homework. That also tells me that I need to come talk to you and we need to figure out what you're struggling with, what you're not understanding. So let's see here, 21. Now when you get it correct, it'll tell you so you can move on to the next question. On the homework, it'll give you that message for each question. You can check each question, like I said, up to 6 times. A lot of days there will be quizzes. Now I'm going to click on quizzes and tests right now. At this moment, there are only 5 things that appear here. The 4 unit tests appear, and then there's a final test at the end of the semester. Those are not done in my math lab. Those are done paper and pencil in class. So what's out here right now is just a message telling you that, hey, our first unit test will be February 9th, Thursday, February 9th. So that you see that coming up and you know to be ready for it. The quizzes will appear here, but right now there aren't any quizzes available. Like I said, they're only available for a day and a half. So next Monday at the end of class, quiz 1 will appear at the top of this list. So it'll be up there for you to take. When you do a quiz, you can't check the answers after each question. You have to do the whole quiz and submit it. And it should, within a couple of minutes, show you how you did on the quiz, which ones you got right, which ones you got wrong. You can do the quizzes up to twice. Now, the questions on the quiz should look very similar to the questions on the homework that you had just completed. So they'll correspond. And I'll explain that more to you once we get to the point where the first quiz is available for you. But you can retake a quiz. But when you retake the quiz, you can't just do individual questions. You do have to retake the whole quiz. Now, unless you get a perfect score on the quiz the first time, there's no reason not to retake it, because the system will take your highest score. So even if you retake it and if you get a worse score, it's still going to take the higher of the two scores no matter which one it is. So there's no reason not to retake it unless you get a perfect score on it. If you scroll down here, there's a bunch of practice tests down here. Those are not assigned, they're not part of the course, but if you want extra practice on chapter 1, you can come down here and use those if you want to. But all this stuff down below here is not part of the course. That's standard stuff that the publisher puts out there for you for practice. I realize that's a lot to take in about a website right now. It's a little bit foggy up there, isn't it? I'll have to get that focused here as the day goes on. We will go over that again a little bit on Wednesday. Your only assignment for today is going to be to get registered in my math lab by Wednesday. If you look at homework here, your first homework assignment is not due till January 30th, so that'd be next Monday the first homework assignment's due. Now, if you get registered and you want to start on it, you can. If you want to work ahead on the homework, all the homework assignments for the whole semester should be out there for you. I don't recommend you get too far ahead, because then you get to the quizzes and you get kind of confused, because the quizzes and the homework do follow each other. Any questions on the website? So that is my math lab. All your homework and quizzes are in there. Everything else you'll need for the course will be in Blackboard. Now, Blackboard is not required for the class. You can get through the class without ever using Blackboard. You do have to use my math lab. But Blackboard is going to contain a lot of things that are going to be useful to you. First of all, if you click on My Grades, it'll take you to a grade book. Right now, it won't show anything in there because I haven't entered any assignments in there yet, because we haven't done any assignments. Course tools, if you forget my email address, that'll give you a way to contact me or your classmates. If you need to contact a classmate about something, maybe you're going to be gone and you want to know if somebody will let you copy their notes or whatever when you get back. Yeah, you can get a hold of a classmate through the course tools. Announcements is just the page we were on. That's basically it's going to be that introductory announcement. I'm not going to put anything else out there unless, if I'm going to be gone for the day, I'll come out here and put an announcement. But if something like that happens and I'm sick and I'm not going to be here, I will actually not only put out the announcement, but I'll have it email it to you, to your WITC email as well. So hopefully you'll get those announcements. Most of the interesting stuff is right here in course information. First is my contact information. If you need to get a hold of me, these are WITC's phone numbers. The 800 number, that should be 800, not 715. But anyway, those are WITC's phone numbers. My extension is 5361. With my class schedule, I almost never get up to my office. I go up there once a day to check and see if I have any voicemails. That's about it. I have a pretty tight schedule right now. So don't expect me to answer the phone, but you can call and leave a voicemail, and I will get it by the end of the day. The easiest way to get in touch with me is through email, right here, todd.hoff@witc.edu. Obviously I have the computers right here, so I usually check my email at least once or twice a day, so I'll get those messages usually pretty quick. I'm going to skip over the syllabus for just a second. This one here is just a link I put out there so students know my schedule, so if they need to come in and see me, they know when I'm available. So this is my schedule for the semester. So like I said, it's a little bit of a tight schedule. Right now, I have right after this class on Mondays, actually right after this class every day, it looks like I have an office hour. So if you want to stick around after class any day, I should be available. My office hours, I'm usually in this classroom. So you don't have to try to go up and find me in the office area. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30 to 12:30 time period is almost always meetings going on. Let's see, you are Aaron? Okay, thanks. There's almost always meetings going on, so trying to find me during those times might be a little more difficult. But if I am here, I'm usually in this classroom. So this would be the first place to come look for me. If there's a class in here, just stick your head in and I'll pause and try to help you out quick. Okay, so let's do the syllabus thing here. By the way, I mentioned the classes are being recorded right now. The links to those recordings will appear down here below my schedule. So where it says in the course information section, those links will be down there. Let me see if I can take you back to last semester's pre-algebra class. So this is the pre-algebra class from last semester. So you can see those are the links to the recordings. Now sometimes you can click on them and they work. Usually it's better if you just copy and paste them into the browser. And you can see there's my happy little face. And I get to the ads. YouTube has to pay their bills, right? And what gets in the recordings is, I have the volume turned off right now, but it would be my voice.
Now we're going to look at some of the
laid over with whatever's up on the screen will show up on the video.
We start with some pretty basic material in this class.
So that's what you would see there. Like I said, it's usually better if you copy and paste them into the browser rather than just trying to click them. They don't work real well to click them. Okay, the syllabus. So you guys know who I am. I'm Todd Huff. You guys can just call me Todd. I don't need any titles or formalities. Email address we've shown, but theirs is again for you, maybe a little bit bigger. Phone number, an extension. Again, my office is up in the Rice Lake in the office area up above, but I'm almost never up there, so I said come look for me here first. My schedule is posted out there for you. You guys are here, so you know when and where we meet. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So this course is designed to give you a background and a little bit of everything in math. It's a pre-algebra course, so we do focus a lot on algebra. But we start out with arithmetic, fractions, decimals, whole numbers. And then we throw in how do you work with variables in each of those forms of numbers. We do a little bit of basic geometry and statistics towards the end of the semester as well. Measurement conversions. So like I said, a little bit of everything. The prerequisite, most of you probably took the placement test and are in here because you need to take this class before you take your program class coming up. Textbook. Textbook for this course. Should look like this. How many of you have the textbook already? Okay, good. So that's going to be one thing is you'll need to have the textbook by Wednesday so that we can start on the course website with homework. But most of you have it, so that's good. Other required supplies. Scientific calculator is not necessarily required, but it is highly recommended. If you have one, chances are it'll work just fine. If you don't have one and you're looking to buy one, the one I usually recommend is I recommend the TI-30. The TI-30, I recommend you get the solar, just because I have about 7 or 8 of them up in my desk in my office with dead batteries. And the calculator is between $10 and $13, and the batteries are like $8. So get the solar, and then get the 2-line display. So it's like the TI-30, I think it's like a 2 or whatever, 2A or whatever. It has the 2-line display. Any of the TI-30s will work for this course. Like I said, many of you are going to be going on to the Math with Business Applications course as your next class. You need the 2-line display for that course because there are some formulas in there that the standard 1-line display calculator cannot handle. So the 2-line display will be much better for your next courses coming up. If you already have a calculator, like I said, chances are that'll be good enough to get you through the course. If you're not sure, come and talk to me and I'll take a look at it and let you know if it's going to work or not. If you have a graphing calculator, those work great. I'm not going to ask you to go buy a graphing calculator by any means. And it actually does have one big weakness. The graphing calculators do not do fractions really well. So as you can see, these are the things we're going to go over. As I said, we're going to start out with real numbers, fractions, decimals. We're going with algebraic expressions in each of those. Percents we spend a little bit of time, quite a bit of time on. That's one of the more important applications of math is percents and proportions. Then we're going to deal with the measurement and statistics and basic geometry. Your grades in this class, the part everybody's concerned about. 80% of your grade in here is your tests. You have the 4-unit tests, and then the quizzes in my math lab. The other 20% is your homework and attendance. Now, I don't necessarily take attendance every day in class and mark you off as absence or not. I basically take attendance through my math lab if you're working on the homework. If during the week you logged into my math lab and worked on any of the assignments, that basically counts as your attendance that you're doing something. If you're going weeks at a time without accessing my math lab, then I'll knock your attendance down a little bit. But I don't necessarily require you to speak during class for class participation. Just basically being here is really what matters there. Standard grading scale, then, this is the standard WITC grading scale. You'll probably see that a lot in the next couple days. If for any reason you need to drop the course, you should see the student handbook for the scale. It changes for every type of class you're taking. I believe if you drop in the first week here, you get a partial refund on your tuition and stuff like that. But if you're getting partway through the course and you're really struggling, I'm willing to talk to you if you're trying to decide whether you need to drop or stay in the course. But there's a lot of the factors that come into that decision. So don't just go and drop the course. Come talk to me. Make sure you talk with the counselors and financial aid. Make sure that all the variables are considered. Because I've had students in the past, they drop a course and then now they're below their credits for financial aid. So there's problems there. So make sure you don't just disappear on me if you're struggling in the class. Come talk to me. And most of the time, you may think you're struggling, but most of the time you're usually not doing as bad as you think you are anyway. Okay, college policies. Normal policies: don't cheat, don't do things you're not supposed to, don't bug other students and keep them from being able to learn and all that good stuff. If you have any needs, whether it's a diagnosed disability or maybe you're just had a fear of tests or struggled with tests, or maybe math has always been an issue for me or for you, come talk to me. We'll figure out something for you, whether it's a private room to take your tests in, extra time, whatever. All of my tests in class have unlimited time. So we take them on a Thursday where it's a 1-hour class. If you need more time than that, let me know. I'll set it aside and I won't grade it till you have time to come back and finish it up. The only thing with tests is I usually limit you to 2 sittings. So if you take the test in class, if you have to get going for something else, that's fine. But if you come back to work on it, I need you to finish it in that sitting. You can't come back 4 or 5 times over the next week and work on the test is all. Well, like I said, if you have any needs, just let me know. We'll figure something out for you. Finally, like I said, the class is recorded and it is posted on YouTube in a public forum. So if anybody, as you can see, the camera is never on you, so you won't ever appear on camera unless you come up and stand by me for some reason. If you don't want your voice recorded, just let me know and I can pause the recording while you talk or whatever. But just don't say anything. It's amazing what gets picked up on the microphone. I've had students whisper something to a friend in the back of the classroom, and it sometimes will appear on them, will be audible in the recording. So, like I said, don't make sure you're not saying anything in class that you don't want the world to know. And then that's just our 4 units: the whole numbers, fractions, decimals, and then geometry and statistics. Any questions on course procedures? Okay. How many of you have logged into a computer here at WITC? For those of you that have not, when you go to log into a computer, your login, your username is your student ID number. That is that 8-digit number that you're assigned as your student ID. Your password is the first 2 letters of your first name so my name's Todd, so it'd be T-O. Then the first 2 letters of your last name, so my Hoff, so it'd be H-O. And then the last 4 digits of either a Social Security or a taxpayer ID number. So the last 4 digits in that number. This logs you onto a computer. It also logs you into Blackboard. How many of you have been in Blackboard? Most of you have. Okay, perfect. So normally what will happen is we'll take a break. On Mondays we have the 2-hour class. We'll take a break at 9:20. Right now what I want you guys to do is next door is a computer lab. We're going to go next door. I'm going to have you log into a computer and if you have a textbook with an access code, we're going to get you logged into my math lab and see if we can get most of you logged into that today. Those of you that don't have a textbook, if you want to go buy the textbook now, you can and come back and see if we can get done, or you can just sit back. We will start lecturing again at 9:30.